There are two different types of conditionals in Python. There's conditional execution and there's conditional values. Let's take a look at what these look like. We'll make a working copy of syntax.py, call it syntax conditionals.py. Go ahead and open our working copy, and we'll start in here by defining a couple of variables. We'll just call them A and B and give them values of 0 and 1. And then we'll say if A is less than B, then we'll print A is less than B. We can get rid of this line here. So what we have here, I'm going to save that, is an assignment. We're assigning two values, 0 and 1, to the variables A and B. And then we're testing if A is less than B. And so this is a conditional statement, and it has a colon here. And that colon means that there's going to be a suite or a block of code that is indented under that level. And so here we have just a print statement. So that's the only statement in that suite. And it will only print if A is actually less than B. So if I save this and run it, we get A is less than B in our result. If I change this 0 here to a 1, then we will get nothing in our result. It won't print anything. You see, there's nothing there. Now, I can handle that exceptional case, and I can say else print A is not less than B. And save that and run it, and now we see A is not less than B because, in fact, A is equal to B. So this is the common if and else in Python. You also have an else if, which in Python is spelled like this, elif. And you need another condition, else if A is greater than B, and we'll print A is greater than B. And then our else, for else we know that if it's not less than and if it's not greater than, then it is equal. A is equal to B. So if we save this and run it, of course we get A is equal to B. And if we make the A a larger number than the B, and save that and run it, now we get A is greater than B. So this is the conditional execution form of conditionals in Python. We have the if clause, we have the else if, and you can have a string of else ifs if you want to. And we have the else for the case where none of the ifs or else ifs are evaluated to true. There is another form of conditional in Python, which is the conditional expression or the conditional value. So we'll start with our same assignment, A comma B equals 0 comma 1. We'll say S equals less than if A is less than B, else not less than. And then we'll go ahead and print S. So what this does is this is a conditional expression. We have a value that's getting assigned only if this condition is true. Otherwise, this other value will be assigned. You may have seen this in other languages done with question marks and colons, and the designers of Python felt that that was too obscure and too difficult to read and decided instead to use syntax that's much easier to read. And in fact, this is much easier to read. It's very clear from just looking at this that S will equal less than if A is less than B, and otherwise it will say not less than. Let's go ahead and save it and run it, and we see that we get the word less than. And if I make this a 1, now it's not less than anymore, and I'll run that, and it says not less than. So that is the conditional value or the conditional expression in Python. So Python has two different types of conditionals. It's got conditional execution, which is with the traditional if, elif, and else. And it has conditional expressions, which don't use the question mark and colon syntax of some other C-based languages, which instead use these same keywords, if and else. It is actually a whole lot easier to read.